Hello there, it's Mr. Payton, and this is a help video on 4.05 Find Volume with Unit Cubes. I already have the first question in my other program. Now, some of these questions in the On Your Own section aren't really like what we studied in the Class Connect. They're more like regular volume problems. And the first one, for example, if you're given one dimension of a cube like this, saying that the side length is 2.5 inches, and you're just asked to find the volume, there's no reason to try to break this up into little specially sized unit cubes that fit perfectly into this cube. All we have to do is multiply length times width times height. Volume is length times width times height of a right rectangular prism, and a cube is just a special kind of right rectangular prism. So all we have to do here is 2.5 times 2.5 times 2.5. And for the sake of time, I'm going to use a calculator for some of these. It just says enter the answer in the box. 2.5 times 2.5 times 2.5 is that. That's 15.625. But most often when you're working with fractions, most of the time you're going to need to answer in the form of a fraction. So let's see how I do this with just doing 2.5 times 2.5 times 2.5. When multiplying fractions, it's best to turn them into an improper fraction first. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so that's 5 halves times 5 halves times 5 halves. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So we get 125 over 8. We could turn that back into a mixed number by dividing it. 8 fits into 12 one time. How many times does 8 fit into 45? Well, 5 times 8 is 40. So just 5 times. Remainder of 5. So 15 with a remainder of 5 out of 8. 15 and 5/8. How does that look compared to what we got on the calculator? We got 15.625. Is that the same? Well, if it is, 0.625 should be just another form of 5/8. You can double check that by doing 5 divided by 8. Look, it's the same. So I'll put 15 and 5/8 in as the answer here. I think that's what it's looking for. Yep. All right, let's go to the next one. Now this one says find the volume of the prism. Enter your answer as a decimal or mixed number in simplest form. Again, we would just multiply length times width times height, multiply these three numbers together, and you'll get its volume. I want to skip ahead to some of the more challenging questions where we have to actually work with these smaller than normal unit cubes. Okay, this is one of those, I think. A rectangular prism has a length of 5.25 meters, a width of 4 meters, and a height of 12 meters. How many unit cubes with an edge length of 1/4 meter will it take to fill the prism, and what's the volume of the prism? All right, let's have a look here. Okay, so if we're thinking unit cubes that are just 1/4 of a meter, each little unit cube is going to be 1/4 by 1/4 by 1/4. The length, width, and height are each going to be 1/4. And if you try to imagine squeezing those in, we could fit 4 in, 1, 2, 3. I can't really do this to scale, but if I squeeze 4 of them in there, that'd be 1 meter. Another 4 would make 2 meters. Another 4 would make 3 meters. Another 4 would make 5 meters. And then just one more would make 5.25 meters. But we could get that number by doing 5.25 divided by 1/4. That'll tell us how many unit cubes with an edge length of 1/4 will fit along that side. So if I do 5 1/4 divided by 1/4 there. That's 21 quarters divided by 1/4. That's the same as 21 quarters, 21 fourths times 4 over 1. And then the 4 just kind of cancels out. The answer is going to be 21. And so basically the answer was the numerator when we turned that into an improper fraction. So I know I could fit 21. I could fit 21 cubes of this size along this side of the rectangular prism. And then over here, 4 meters. Well, how many quarter? If I do 4 divided by 1/4, that's 4 times 4 over 1, which is 4 times 4. It's going to be 16. I could fit 16 of them along this side. And if I look at the next dimension, 12, well, the same thing's going to happen. How many quarters can you fit into 12? It's going to be the same as 12 times 4. Because 12 divided by 1/4 is going to be, remember, flip it and multiply, dividing fractions. Don't be shy. Flip the second number and multiply. That's going to be 12 times 4. It's going to be 48. So I can fit 48 of them up that way. So I know, like, the number of cubes of this size will be whatever 21 times 16 times 48 is. 21 times 16 times 48. That's how many specially sized unit cubes that are 1/4 by 1/4 by 1/4 that will fit into this, right rectangular prism. All right, let's see what that comes out to be. 21 times 16 times 48. Comes out to 16,128. That's not the volume, though. That is not the volume. I could find the volume 2 different ways here. Okay, so because I know the dimensions, I can multiply 5 1/4 times 4. The volume, I can figure it out by just doing this. 5, these are the given dimensions. 5 1/4 times 4 times 12. That'll give me the volume. Let's see what that looks like. 5 1/4 is 5.25 as a decimal, times 4 times 12. I get 252. So the volume would be 252 meters cubed. And the number of unit cubes is that. But here's what we did in class. We didn't find the volume the regular way. We don't get to this officially till the later lessons in this unit. We used these unit cubes to figure out the volume. If you find the volume of one of those unit cubes, and they're all the same size, then you can use that number, just multiply it by the number of cubes there are inside this figure, and that's another way to get the volume. So 1 cube here is going to be 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4. That's going to be 4 times 4 times 4 gets you 64 along the bottom, right? 4 times 4 is 16 times another 4, 64. So that's 164 meter cubed. That's the size of one of these special unit cubes. That's its size. That's how much space it takes up. So if we multiply that by the number of them, 1/64 times 16,128, it will look like this. All right, and that's just over 1. So basically, it turns it into dividing. 16,128 divided by 64. That should be the same as 252, the same as getting the volume the other way here. So let's double check. We have 16128 divided by 64, and we get 252. Meters cubed. Okay, so that's the number of cubes, that's the volume. That's what they were asking for. The prism can be filled with 16128 unit cubes of that length. The volume is 252 meters cubed. Let's check it. Yes, it's right. Awesome. Let's look at another one. This is pretty much the same problem, except the unit cubes are half a centimeter instead of a quarter. That's pretty much the same problem. Well, I want to get to one of a different type of problem here. All right, this one might be interesting. Oh, it's two questions. A cube has an edge length of 5.5 inches. How many unit cubes with an edge length of 1/2 inch does it take to fill the cube? Let's look at this one. Where's my thing? Let's try to draw this out a little bit. A cube has an edge length, so we're fitting little cubes into a bigger cube. Our cube has an edge length of 5.5 inches. We're trying to fit in smaller little unit cubes that are just 1/2 inch. Every edge length is 1/2 inch. 1/2 by 1/2 by 1/2. So imagine trying to squeeze those in this side. So there's 1/2 inch, there's 1 inch. There's another 1/2 inch, there's 2 inches. There's another 1/2 inch, there's 3 inches. There's another 1/2 inch, there's 4. There's another 1/2 inch, there's 5. And we have 5.5 inches along this side. Let me kind of adjust my drawing a little bit. So those are these little green unit cubes. Sorry for the crude drawing. I'm not really that good at drawing these things. But so I'm trying to fit those little 1/2 by 1/2 by 1/2 unit cubes into my larger cube. And how many fit on this side? Well, you can get the number. That I just sort of did it by adding them until I filled it, right? 1/2 inch 1, 1/2 inch 2, 1/2 inch 3, 1/2 inch 4, 1/2 inch 5. But you can get that number by just doing 5.5 divided by 1/2. If I take 5.5, 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11. So that's 11 halves. Well, so how many halves? If you do 11 halves divided by 1/2, the answer is just going to be 11. How many halves can you fit in there? It's going to be 11. So how many unit cubes will it take to fill the cube? We know it will be 11 along this side. 11 along this side. Now let's look at how many deep we can go. So, oh, wait a minute. It's a cube. It's just a large cube, so it's going to be 11 along every side, right? We'd be able to squeeze 11 of them along that side, 11 of them high, if we stack them high. Before we think about stacking them high, though, here, let's just, if we do squeeze 11 along the bottom, we're gonna have a whole bottom row here that's going to be 11 by 11. Imagine a whole row of cubes, a whole like layer, a whole level of cubes. These are all cubes stacked in there, 11 by 11. 11 by 11. So you're going to have a lot. That's a lot of cubes, right? 11 times 11. What is 11 times 11? Oops. 11 times 11. You're going to get 121 cubes just in the bottom row. So we have 11 going this way, 11 going this way. And so that's 121. But then we have 11 more rows of them. I mean, 11, I'm sorry, not more rows, but it's going to be stacked up on top of each other. 11 total layers of this little cube cake we're making here. 11 total layers. So we're going to multiply by 11 again. 11 times 11 times 11 should get us the number of unit cubes with this particular edge length that fit in this larger cube. So what's 121 times 11? Let's multiply this by 11, and we get 1,331. That's one of the answer options there, so I think we'll go with that. What's the volume of the cube? Well, we could either do it the easy way or the hard way. we could do 5.5 times 5.5 times 5.5. That's going to be 5.5 times 5.5 times 5.5. 166.375. Now there's only one number up here that has 166 as the whole number part of it, and that's 166 and 3/8. Is 3/8 the same as 0.375? Let's test it. 3 divided by 8. Yep, it's the same. So it's going to be this one. But that's kind of doing it the easy way. We're just multiplying length times width times height. With the cube, length and width and height are all the same. To do it the more challenging way that we kind of focused on in our class Connect, we would have done this. We would have taken this number we got for the number of cubes, 1,331. That's the number of little green cubes that fit inside the larger cube. We'd multiply that by the volume of the little unit cube. So we'd have to find the volume of the little unit cube by doing this. 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. That's 1/8 cubic inches. So if I do 1,331 times 1/8, essentially I'm going to be doing 1,331 divided by 8. And that should also be this number. This number. Let's check it out. Yep, we got it. Same number. Okay, let's check our answer. The computer verifies it is correct. Good. Okay, this video is already 17 minutes long. I think that'll be enough, so I'm going to wrap it up. Okay, so let me know if you guys have any questions on this. I hope it helped. And we'll continue with these volume lessons into the next week for the end of the unit. And I think it'll be a lot easier for you guys compared to this 4.05 lesson. I know this was a bit of a challenge, but you know, feels good to get these right, I hope, for you. It does for me. All right, so I'll see you guys later.